Still on the topic of information about the upcoming version 3.5, we all already know for sure that there will be 2 new characters being released, one of which is Cerydra. So, in this video we will discuss Cerydra's full kit, which is already circulating among players at the moment. From the 3.5 drip marketing information, we already know for certain that Cerydra is a harmony character with a kit that's just as unique, where she can grant a buff to one teammate, allowing that teammate to unleash an additional skill once the charge of her skill reaches a certain threshold. This is undoubtedly advantageous for characters whose primary damage source comes from skills, such as Phainon and Anaxa. And according to rumors, Cerydra is also said to be the best in slot support for Phainon. So, can Cerydra's arrival challenge and rival the current support characters in the meta? Without further ado, I'm Hoyo Station and let's dive straight into the full kit discussion of Cerydra version 3.5. Let's do this. Do you have a character or weapon in the game that you really want but you don't have enough stellar jades? Here's a smarter way to recharge your favorite games like Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Look no further than Lootbar. Lootbar is the most reliable top-up platform. It saves up to 23% for all orders compared with the official channel, and it provides an 80% off for your first purchase. It's 100% safe as you will only be using your UID. We will buy pack for 30,000 stellar jades for $42, which otherwise would have costed $50, totally saving $7.5. We received the crystals we purchased in the less than 3 minutes. All recharges will be done through the official channel with miHoyo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Ready to level up your gaming experience? Check the link in the description to get the amazing discount. Alright, as usual, we will start by discussing the base stats. As you can see from the data, Cerydra has a high base HP of 1358 points. Even when compared to 3B, who has scaling based on maximum HP, Cerydra still has an advantage of around 300 points. As for her base attack, she has a base attack that is nearly on par with Sunday, who also has a similar path, at 621 points. Of course, this is understandable since Cerydra herself primarily uses attack as the scaling of her kit. An interesting aspect of Cerydra is that she has a slightly higher base speed compared to 3B and Sunday, which are only 96 points. Although the difference is only 3 points, this will have a significant impact, especially if you are aiming for high speed on Cerydra. Next, we will look at her skill, which is also her main ability, called Pawn's Promotion. She will give a buff called Military Merit to one teammate target and give Cerydra 1 charge point. The maximum charge that can be obtained is 8 points. When charge reaches 6 points, the Military Merit buff is enhanced to Nobility and removes crowd control debuffs from the ally. Characters with Nobility gain an additional 72% critical damage for skill damage and trigger Coup de Main when using skills on enemies. So, what is Coup de Main? Coup de Main copies the skill used by an ally and immediately launches an additional skill, which is considered the original ability. After Coup de Main ends, it consumes 6 charge points and reverts Nobility back to Military Merit. Honestly, the effects of this skill are very interesting to discuss. This skill provides a buff that duplicates the skill launched by a teammate and launches it again in the same way as before. This means that if we launch the skill in enhanced mode, the duplicate from Coup de Main will also launch the enhanced skill. For example, if we use Phainon's second enhanced skill with Force Scourge, the duplicate will also launch the second enhanced skill with Force Scourge without using additional Scourge. So we can consider this skill launch as an additional launch. With this effect, if we use Anaxa, which can activate his skill twice, we can activate Anaxa's skill 4 times in one go when using Coup de Main. Interesting, isn't it? One thing to remember is that this skill shares some similarities with the skill from the March 7th Hunt that grants a buff named Shifu. This skill has no duration, meaning that once you grant military merit to a character, that character will continue to have military merit, allowing your Cerydra to save on skill point usage. Next, we will discuss her talent called AV Imperator. Characters with military merit will receive a 24% increase in Cerydra's attack power. When that character uses a basic attack or skill, Cerydra gains 1 charge. Charges will not be gained while Coup de Main is active. Military merit only applies to the latest teammate target. When the target changes, Cerydra's charges will be reset to 0. Well, this talent's effect plays a crucial role in charging the skill's charge. Additionally, we will grant a 24% attack boost from Cerydra's attack power to the recipient of her buff. This means that the higher Cerydra's attack, the greater the attack boost granted to the character. With this effect, DPS characters with attack scaling will be more advantageous compared to DPS characters with HP scaling, as the attack boost buff provided will not be useful for characters like Mighty and Caceres. Furthermore, it's important to understand that since military merit can only be possessed by one teammate at a time, Cerydra's skill is particularly effective when applied to hypercarry DPS characters within the same team, such as Phainon, Archer, and others. Alright, now we will move on to her ultimate ability, called Scholar's Mate. This ultimate ability will grant 2 charges and deal wind damage equal to 240% of Cerydra's attack power to all enemies. If no teammate has military merit on the field, it will automatically grant military merit to the first character in the party lineup. Alright, this ultimate is also quite interesting, guys. The effect of the ultimate clearly makes it easier to charge her skills. This ultimate also deals damage to all enemies, indicating that Cerydra can contribute damage to the team. So she has a role similar to Tribi, who can deal noticeable damage despite being a Harmony type character. Next, we will discuss her technique called First Move Advantage. After using this technique, Cerydra will gain military merit. When switching to another character, military merit will transfer to the currently active character. At the start of battle, the skill will automatically be used on the character with military merit without consuming skill points. This technique has a very interesting effect and is very helpful, especially at the start of a battle. By using this technique and entering the battle, Cerydra will immediately activate her skill on the character with military merit. This will greatly assist in charging Cerydra from the start of the battle, without having to manually activate the skill first. With this talent effect, we can save at least 1 skill point at the start of the battle, allowing us to redirect those skill points to something more useful instead. Alright, now let's move on to her traces section. Her minor traces provide an additional wind damage boost of 22.4%, attack of 18%, and HP of 10%. These minor traces have a very useful effect for increasing Cerydra's personal damage, as they provide a significant wind damage boost of 22.4%. The minor attack trace is also very helpful. As I mentioned in the talent section, the additional attack provided by this trace further enhances the attack bonus given to allies with military merit. The first trace is named Conqueror. When using a skill, Cerydra's speed and the speed of allies with military merit will increase by 20 points for 3 turns. When a character with military merit performs a basic attack or skill, Cerydra will restore 5 energy. The effect of the first trace is absolutely cool, as after Cerydra uses a skill, she and her teammates with military merit will gain 20 speed points, which are very useful for speeding up their turns. Additionally, this trace allows our main DPS to use feat attack to increase damage output without relying on main speed stats. Furthermore, Cerydra gains an extra 5 energy every time a teammate with military merit performs a basic attack or skill, which helps Cerydra charge her ultimate faster. By the way, with this energy boost, Sunday or Bronya will also play a crucial role in providing additional energy for Cerydra, as their ability to grant action advance allows Cerydra to gain extra energy. Interesting, isn't it? For the second trace named Observer, it increases Cerydra's critical rate by 100%. When Cerydra's charge is below the maximum value, and when a character with military merit uses their ultimate for the first time, Cerydra gains an additional 1 charge. This effect can only be triggered once per battle. This trace is a very interesting one that helps Cerydra avoid needing to seek out critical rate stats in her relics. Additionally, Cerydra gains an extra charge, allowing her skill effects to activate faster. However, please note that this extra charge only applies once per battle. As for the third trace named Seeker, when Cerydra's attack exceeds 2000 points, Every additional 100 points will increase critical damage by 18%, up to a maximum of 360%. Well, the effect of the third trace is excellent for building Cerydra. With this effect, we only need to focus on two main stats when building this character: attack and speed. If we do a little calculation, we need a total attack of at least 4000 points to achieve the full 360% critical damage. Of course, obtaining that much attack isn't too difficult if we build her properly. Generally, if we have 4000 attack points on Cerydra, we already have 100% critical rate and 360% critical damage, plus an attack buff for teammates with military merit around 960 points. With these numbers, we can see that the buff she provides is significant, and her personal damage is already massive thanks to her critical value. And finally, we have reached the final part of her kit, which is the EIDOLON section. The first EIDOLON, named Seize the Crowns of All, allows characters with military merit to ignore 15% of the enemy's defense when attacking. When in nobility state, it will ignore another 18% of the enemy's defense when using damage skills. Well, the effect of this first EIDOLON has an additional effect that is very good for your main DPS. How could it not be? All attacks launched by characters with military merit will ignore 15% of the enemy's defense. Not only that, it will ignore another 18% of the enemy's defense when launching damage skills even in the nobility state. This allows damage skills to ignore a total of 33% defense, which is a significant amount considering many elite enemies and bosses have very high defense points. As for the second EIDOLON, named Forge the Dreams of Many, characters with military merit deal 40% more damage. When there's a teammate with military merit on the field, it increases Cerydra's damage by 160%. The effect of the second EIDOLON increases the damage of teammates with military merit, which in turn boosts the main DPS's damage output. An interesting aspect of this effect is that since there will always be a teammate with military merit on the field, the damage boost for Cerydra remains active throughout the battle. However, unfortunately, the effect of EIDOLON 2 is not maximized when pairing Cerydra with EIDOLON 2 and Phainon, as the significant 160% damage increase seems to be nullified by Phainon's ultimate ability, which prevents teammates from acting. Next, for her fourth EIDOLON, named Remake the Realms of Man, it will increase the ultimate damage multiplier by 240%. Well, once again, the effect of this EIDOLON impacts Cerydra's damage output. It increases the ultimate damage multiplier, which previously had a multiplier of 240% by another 240%, effectively doubling it. Unfortunately, despite the significant damage increase from this EIDOLON, it only boosts Cerydra's ultimate damage without providing benefits to other kits, making the effect feel less worthwhile. As for the final EIDOLON, named A Journey Set Starward, characters with military merit gain 20% all-type resistant penetration, and Cerydra deals an additional 360% wind damage after the character launches an attack. This additional damage can be triggered up to 20 times. The count is reset every time Cerydra uses her ultimate. When there's a teammate with military merit on the field, Cerydra gains 20% all-type resistant penetration. This EIDOLON significantly increases the total damage dealt by characters with military merit, as it provides an additional all-type resistant penetration that is highly useful against nearly all damage types in the game. Additionally, Cerydra also provides additional wind damage and has a very high multiplier of 360% up to a maximum of 20 times each time Cerydra uses her ultimate ability. If we multiply this, Cerydra can deal up to a total of 7,200% additional wind damage to enemies, making the effect of this EIDOLON drastically increase the damage output of the team. Interesting, right? Alright, in the next section, we will discuss her signature icon called Epoch Etched in Golden Blood. Its effect will increase the user's attack power by 64%. Another effect is after using ultimate, recovers 1 skill point. When the user uses a skill on teammate, it increases the damage of the skill given by that teammate by 54% for 3 turns. Well, although the effects of this icon seem fairly simple, they offer numerous benefits for both Cerydra and your main DPS. This icon provides attack power that is highly useful for maximizing her kit. Additionally, this icon grants extra skill damage to the teammate targeted by the user skill, making it highly compatible with Cerydra's skill that grants military merit to one teammate. Furthermore, the Lightcone will restore one skill point every time the user casts their ultimate, which is highly useful for teams that rely heavily on skill points, such as Anaxa or Phainon when he accumulating core flame stacks. However, it's important to note that the skill damage boost from the Lightcone lasts for 3 turns, so you must be able to cast Cerydra's skill at least once every 3 turns. Alright guys, that's all for now. What do you think about this character? Do you plan to pick her up in version 3.5? Feel free to leave any comments down below. And don't forget to check out my other videos because they are just as cool. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.